Do you have a sweet tooth like I do? Well, luckily, there are some very good alternatives out there to satisfy your sweet tooth and not break the bank when it comes to calories and macronutrients. In this video, we're going to go over a very delicious and tasty, magnificent muffin that my significant other Jen is going to make. We're going to talk about the ingredients, we're going to talk about the macronutrients, we're going to talk about why they're good for you, and we're also going to tell you when and where you can put them into your diet plan. But before we get down to all the scrumptious details, make sure to like and share this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet. Okay, here we go. Jennifer, tell us a little bit of something about these amazing muffins you're about to make, and I want you to talk about the ingredients you're putting in them.
Okay. The muffins are protein muffins. They're highly nutrient dense. And I started making these muffins for my son when he was competing. What
was your son competing in?
Snowboarding.
Wow, that's amazing. So you used to make these and then give them to him on the hill in between runs and stuff like that to keep his body nourished?
Right. So there's nice protein. There's really good,
complex carbs.
Complex carbs in here that just take the body a while to break down. So it would give him substance throughout his day in a very healthy way.
Let's go ahead and talk about the actual macronutrient breakdown of these. So we've got protein in them. We have complex carbs. We'll talk about exactly where they're coming from. Is there a good source of fat in these as well, or any fat at all?
I think so.
What do you put in there that's got fat in it?
I would say, some of the vegetable oil is in there, and
you put walnuts in them, right?
Walnuts and some sprouts.
Sprouts?
The sprouted oats.
Oh, sprouted oatmeal.
Yeah.
Okay. So the whole idea of this muffin is it's healthy. It is a good macronutrient profile. It is a healthy alternative to something that's sweet, basically. And it's dense, and it's calorie dense to a point where it's going to satisfy your hunger and your craving for sweets all rolled into one. Yes,
that's right.
Okay, because that's basically what I led this video off with. And I was saying how a lot of us have a sweet tooth out there. And being with me for so many years, how big my sweet tooth is. And I love when you make things like this because I feel so less guilty when I eat them. Because it is a good macronutrient combination, and it's high in fiber, it's high in protein, and it's got a good amount of complex carbs in it and healthy fat. And I don't feel as disgusting or bloated when I eat something like this as opposed to eating, say, a tasty cake or a Twinkie or something.
That's right. Yeah. And that's why I made them for my son, because he had to keep moving and to keep his body moving and in high performance athletic situations, but needs to be fueled. And that's why I started to noodle around with this type of option for him to eat.
Well, the interesting thing is that it's nutrient dense. It can be used as a dessert. It can be used as a treat, but it can also be used as sustenance if you're doing something like a long endurance activity. So if we went hiking, these would be great to take with us too if we broke our fast with them, say after 16, 18 hours of fasting on the trail.
Absolutely.
So it has a multi-purpose to it.
Right.
And then if we eat dinner, we could have them for a dessert as well and not feel as guilty as we would if we had a regular cupcake.
Sure.
Okay. Now, you want me to hold it or you want to hold it up to the camera and tip it a little bit? I want people to see what they look like before they go into the oven. That's what they look like, gelatinous and stuff. And then we're going to talk about the actual ingredients. And as you can see, we've got a whole bunch of smattering of things here. And I actually have this big rectangular box of supplements that I use in my meals. We both do, actually, when we break our fast. And some of those things are going to go into a different thing she's going to make. We'll talk about those in a minute. But these don't come with 2 or 3 ingredients, like a lot of things out there. Oh, 2 ingredients, 3 ingredients. Yeah, that's good. That's a pipe dream, in my opinion. If you want to have something that's going to be a good alternative to an unhealthy thing, sometimes you have to get a little extravagant with your ingredients. So let's go ahead and talk about some of these. Talk about it.
All right. So I always use this big bowl, and I start with a protein power cake mix here. And so it can be used with flapjacks, waffles, those types of things. So I always start, this is my base. And I just eyeball everything based on how many muffins I'd like to make. So I pour it in here, maybe a cup and a half, and then I start to layer in all the other ingredients, and I'll just mix and get a consistency that is going to be good for, not too thin and not too thick. And just make sure that, we have enough liquid and enough moisture. So that's my base, and it's a protein Power Cake.
This is, I just want to tell you all there, it's Kodiak Cakes is the actual company. This is called Power Cakes, flapjack and waffle mix. This has been, we've been using this for a while.
15 grams of protein added into...
I'll actually hold the nutrition label up for you. It's 15 grams of protein, 5 grams of fiber per serving. So that's a really good nutrient-dense option right there.
All right, so I start there with my base, and then I like to add the some kind of protein powder. So today, because I used a cherry pie filling, I thought the cherry pie filling with whole cherries will give me a lot of really good moisture, and it will give me some really good taste for the sugar and fruit. And so I mix those two. So I get a little bit of cherry pie filling, and then the protein powder. And this protein powder I chose because it's banana flavored. And so the banana flavor with the cherries I thought would give it a really nice profile.
And this is called Clean Simple Eats. It's a very good protein powder. It's clean. It has no hormones or antibiotics in it, and I believe it has digestive enzymes built in too. And we're always trying to get our gut in as good a shape as we can. And this has 20 grams of protein per serving, and it is going to be dispersed amongst the muffins. And the cherries there's no high fructose corn syrup or any of that nonsense in there as well, by the way. I've already scanned it, I know.
Right, so gluten-free, no high fructose corn syrup, and non-GMO as well.
Non-GMO as well.
Making sure that everything is clean that you're using. So I use these two things as my base, and I start to then layer in. I will chop up an apple. And so I dice an apple, and then I put it into the bowl, and I mix it. These are sugar bee apples. They're my favorite.
Sugar bees are really good.
Yeah, the sugar bees.
Nature's candy right there.
And so if I put apple so I do apples and then raisins. So then I'll layer in raisins, and then for texture, I like to add walnuts. So I'll crush up some walnuts, and then I'll layer those in. And then I'll start to use some macadamia to get consistency. And between the cherry topping and the macadamia, and then the applesauce, we start to smooth out the mixture in the batter. And then I will add some of this here, the brown coconut sugar, to give it a little bit of sweetness. That's super healthy as well.
Yeah, the organic coconut sugar is low on the glycemic index, so it's a very good sugar alternative. This applesauce is organic. The raisins are also organic and GMO-free. And what was the other thing you mentioned over there? There was something else I'm missing.
Oh, just the cherries and the apple. We talked about that. The apple.
Yeah, everything is clean, organic. And the walnuts, that's what I wanted to talk about. Walnuts are a good source of omega-3 fatty acids as well. And if you take a walnut, a whole one, look at it, it looks like a brain. So do the math on that. It's good for brain health, omega-3s.
Right.
Don't forget.
All right, so then what I do is so once I have all that done, I like the consistency, I'll add some chocolate chips.
Gotta have chocolate.
And these are 100% real chocolate morsels.
That's Enjoy Life Company, which is also gluten-free, and it's a dark chocolate. So it's high in antioxidants.
Right, and then I'll add some ground cinnamon, and I'll just keep mixing that up. And as a final to all of it, once I have the batter in the consistency that I want, I add the rolled oats, the sprouted rolled oats, for a nice addition for a carb. Yeah,
and that makes it a little more dense, a little more chewy, and a little bit more fiber. And the sprouted oatmeal is fantastic. It works really well when you're doing it in baking applications as well. And I also want to mention macadamia is a macadamia nut based milk. So it's a milk alternative. This is really good. We like this one. It's creamy and it's delicious.
It is, for sure. Yeah. A few tips.
I do have one question though. You're talking about I'm using this and this and this. You're notorious for being a magician in the kitchen where you just throw things around like waving a magic wand.
I do.
I don't see any measuring cups anywhere except for that gigantic bowl you have over there.
Oh, yeah,
do you measure all this stuff out?
This is just my mixing bowl. Yeah, I don't.
You don't mix.
I don't.
You don't measure it.
I don't measure. I don't.
So that's interesting because a lot of people are like, I need to know quarter cup, half cup, this. I think it's just, is it intuition you get after a while that you know what to put as far as parts are? Because I'm kind of the same way. I don't like to bring out cups and measure things. I like to just go to town. So those watching at home, if they want to make these, Do you have like recommendations on how they can make their own muffins without having to mess around with cups? You go on feel, right?
Well, yeah, so you eyeball things.
Okay.
And you just make sure, again, like as I mentioned before, not too thick and not too runny. And so you want to so if your batter becomes a little, on the runny side, you can add more power cake to it. Now, if it's too dense, you can add some vegetable oil or applesauce or more pie filling, and then you're just going to want to take a taste of it and, determine where, if it matches the profile, the flavor profile that you want, a little bit sweeter, perhaps a little bit more bitter, you'd want to put some dark chocolate in there. But it's really just a creative process. And when you do that, you're just kind of continuing to figure it out, and then you make something that's genuinely for you, not necessarily based on like 1 cup of this or a 1/4 cup of that thing. And if you want, you could start the base with 1.5 cups or 2 cups, but just eyeball it to see how much batter you really want to make. And again, the guideline, we don't have to over-engineer this thing. Just make sure that it's just not too runny or it's not too thick. And you just kind of play around, you add certain things, but just be creative and just kind of move through the process that way. And when you do that, you become pretty involved in what you're creating. And it then becomes a really cool creative exercise for your heart and your brain as well.
It's like an art project. And it's very therapeutic for a mental perspective, just like you're about to talk about right there. And I can't stress enough the importance of mental health. So when you spend a little time in the kitchen mixing some things around, your brain only goes here, and you don't think about all those things that are troubling you and bothering you outside of the space of the kitchen.
Right.
Which is really cool.
So final tips when you're making these muffins. What I do when I have the cupcake, the baking cups for muffins or cupcakes, what I like to do to prevent sticking when the batter starts to cook.
That's the worst.
What I do is I'll take the little paper filler, and I'll spray some olive oil and just gently spray some olive oil on each of the cups. And then I'll pour, you see this mixing bowl has a lip. And so I can just, pour this in here, measure it out, pour it. And then it's a little, you have a little bit more control over it. And then you're going to put the muffins in the oven at about 350. And again, depending on how dense and depending on how large the muffin is going to determine the cook time. Just continue to watch over it and eye it. And then you can once you think, what I do is I'll touch the top of it. And if it's tacky, that means that it still needs some time to cook. And once the top of it it's not tacky anymore, then what I'll do is I'll just take a toothpick and I'll put it right in the center. And if the toothpick comes out clean, that means that the muffin is done. And I'll take that out and I'll put it onto a cooling rack.
Okay. So again, that's kind of being intuitive. It's basically like a freestyle, I call it, all the way through. From the time you start making them to the time you cook them and bake them and everything.
Right.
Now I have one more last question, and I'm sure a lot of people are wondering this as well. Do you have any idea of the actual macronutrient amount of calories per muffin this will come out to? Do you have a rough idea?
I have no idea.
Yeah, you have no idea?
I have no idea.
I have a little bit of an idea.
I've never thought about, I've never really thought about calories. I've never thought about any of that. I just focused on using really good ingredients and creating something in a very loving way and putting
positive chi into it.
My love and my heart into the cooking. And then, when someone eats it, I hope that they can understand how much love and care went into it just for them.
Well, I'm a big firm believer in when you put positive energy and chi into food, it gives it like this high amount of energy in return when you eat it. And when you have negative thoughts going into food, or if you have negative thoughts going into a meal that comes to you, you're going to put negative charge into it. And you can reverse that by having positive chi into it, which this is definitely all positive chi right here, which is fantastic. Now, my professional opinion, I would guess these muffins are probably, if you do want to know, I would say they're probably between 80 and 100 calories a piece. I'd say there's probably 12 to 15 grams of protein, 7 grams of fiber, 22 grams of carbs, and about 5 grams of fat. And do the math on that. Maybe my calories are off there. But that's just my estimation in case you do want to know. And again, I don't think these would break the bank from a nutritional perspective if you're following a calorie-restricted diet, if you're trying to eat healthy, if you're trying to eat clean. The other thing you would want to watch out for is if you're vegan. You know, this is a whey protein powder, and that's probably the only thing in here that's non-vegan. So you can easily just replace this with a plant-based protein powder, and you'd be good to go.
Right.
So.
All right. So, pro tip here. If you want,
another pro tip. I love the pro tips.
You can then finish the muffin with just a little dollop of honey.
Oh, that's a nice little addition right there.
Yeah.
Nice little kicker.
And, you know, I like to, when my son was, on tour, what I would do is I would do this, and then I would make him a thermos of hot tea or hot cocoa so that, he had something warm, and then, something that had really good healthy carbs, some really good minerals and vitamins, and a fair amount of protein to keep him going.
Jeez, no wonder he was like World Cup level. Almost could have made the Olympics if he wanted to, but he chose not to. Is that raw honey?
This is
that the honey we got down
clover honey. It's raw, pure clover honey.
Is that the honey we got down the Grand Canyon?
I'm not sure. Yes, I think so.
I think it is too.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts, Jen?
I sort of feel like in these situations, measuring things is overrated.
Oh, I love that. I think it is too.
Yeah. So
90%
just,
of the time. Don't beat yourself up over
experiment.
Yeah.
And get in the kitchen and, mix things around and create something that is uniquely your own.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Just like doing the same thing in the gym, except transfer it to the kitchen.
Right.
All right, you're gonna throw those in the oven. They're gonna be cooked for X amount of minutes.
Yeah, I'm thinking probably anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes on 350 degrees. I like 350 degrees because it's not too hot and it's not too cold, and it will slow cook the muffin.
Mm-hmm. You always want to slow cook anything, actually, by the way. That's a hack, even if it's something on the oven,
right?
In a skillet.
Right.
All right. Thanks, Jen, very much for your loving muffins today. I can't wait to eat these for dessert later.
I know, right?
Yep. Please drop us a comment and let us know if you have any questions or comments about these, or if you've done some kind of similar experiment. I'd like to hear about it. Let us know what you're making out there. Make sure to like and share this video. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet, and hit that little bell indicator to always be notified when I release a new video. Till next time, Jen, let's give them the guns. Come on.